What if there was a set of cinema lenses that are small, lightweight, fast, sharp, with a bit of character and also actually affordable? Does that sound too good to be true? Well, let's talk about the Thypoch Simera-C. In case you've never heard of Thypoch, they are a sister company of DZO, and until now they were mostly known for their M-mount lenses for Leica cameras, so affordable versions of higher-end Leica or Lights lenses. They've based the design of these lenses on their Simera photo lenses, but now rehoused them in cinema bodies. And at the time of recording this video, Thypoch has 4 focal lengths available of this lens: a 28mm, 35mm, 50mm, and 75mm, which I unfortunately was not able to get my hands on. They all have a maximum aperture of t1.5 that closes down to t16. Thypoch will release more focal lengths down the line, but already this is a very good set to start off with this core range of focal lengths. Now, the biggest and most distinct feature of these lenses is of course their size. They are very small and super lightweight. These are ideal for throwing on a gimbal or for handheld shooting, and I can also see this being a great lens for something like the Ronin 4D. They all weigh around anywhere between 395 grams to 453 grams, so they're not all the exact same weight. There's also some variation in size between them, especially with the 75mm. Also, the filter threads is not the same on each lens. The 28, 35, and 50 have a 62mm filter thread, and the 75 has a 67mm filter thread. The filter size is also not marked on the lenses, and I found this to be a little bit annoying, and more consistency would have definitely been nice to see on a set of cinema lenses like this. The aperture rings and the focus ring do line up perfectly, so that is great to see. The Simera-C have a full metal construction, and even though they are very small and affordable lenses, they feel very solid and high quality. This is something which can't be said about the lens caps though, which are made out of plastic and feel very cheap. Each of these lenses has a 210-degree focus throw, which makes it great for handheld use in case you don't have a follow focus system. Currently, Thypoch only offers a Sony E-mount version of these lenses, but they mentioned more mounts to be released in the future depending on demand. Now let's have a look at some of the characteristics of these lenses, starting with distortion. Distortion is something that you would expect to see with these smaller lenses, but it is very well controlled with these Simeras, and looking at these charts, you can tell that there's almost no visible distortion. Another thing that small and fast lenses like this struggle with is vignetting, and that is also the case with the Simera-C. Especially wide open at t1.5, there is a very strong vignette, but even when stopping down, it doesn't fully go away. Now, this is something that might depend on personal taste, and some people might actually see that vignetting as a nice characteristic of a lens and might want that in their images. When testing for chromatic aberration, I noticed that there is some amount of chromatic aberration, but it's not that strong and it's quite well controlled. In real-world shooting scenarios, I doubt that you would actually notice it. When it comes to flaring, the Simera-C have a pretty well-controlled flare, and for the most part, I am happy with how these flares look on these lenses. They hold their contrast pretty well, but still show some nice character in the flares. These lenses produce amazing looking bokeh and a nice and soft focus fall off. You can even get a little bit of that swirliness that you might see in Russian vintage lenses like the Helios, and I would say that the background blur and the bokeh are some of the most outstanding features of these lenses. The fall off is very natural and smooth, so it doesn't look like the subjects are cut out of the background like you sometimes get when shooting wide open. The Simera-C have 16 rounded iris blades, so you're getting nice and round bokeh balls throughout the frame with a bit of lemon-shaped bokeh towards the edges. Another thing that you wouldn't expect with cinema lenses at this price range is that they would be very sharp when shooting wide open. However, the Simera-C are very sharp even at t1.5. And even though they produce a nice amount of detail, at the same time they have this slightly muted look to them that you would want from a cinema lens. And this is something you would see with more high-end cinema lenses, where you get this perfect balance of sharpness without being overly unnatural like you see with most high-end photography lenses. Now, because the foundation of these lenses is a stills lens design, they do showcase some amount of focus breeding. This might not be an issue in some situations, but definitely something to be aware of. There is also a slight color shift between these lenses, with the 28 and the 35mm being slightly warmer than the 50mm. This is again something which is especially noticeable in controlled testing, but in most real-world shooting situations you might not even really notice this. When comparing the Simera-C to other lens sets on the market, there really isn't a direct comparison. There currently aren't any other lenses at this small size that cover full frame, open to t1.5 and are under $900. The closest competitor would probably be the Nisi Athena, which are an incredible set of lenses, super sharp, fantastic image quality, color consistency and build quality, but they are around $1,200 per lens. They also have a very different look, where the Athenas are much more clean and correct, and the Simera-C have a more vintage quality to them with much more character. So it really comes down to what your personal taste is and what you want from a set of lenses like this. Either way, the Thypoch Simera-C are a really unique set of cinema lenses, and at this price point they are incredible value with a nice balance between sharpness, performance and a distinctive aesthetic. And these will be great for gimbal shooters, run and gun dock shooters, or any situation where a small lens is preferred. You will get a certain look baked into your image because of their characteristics, so if you do want that cleaner look and more control of what the final image is going to be with, for example, post-processing, then something like the Nisi Athenas is going to be a better option for you. And if you want to have a look at the images that those Athenas are able to produce, I just put up a video right here where I shot a short film using an entire set of those Nisi Athena lenses. Anyway, that's it for this one. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!